Coming up, a Sad Styles production. Get into it!
Mikey,
Yes.
can you explain to me again, what game are we doing this week?
A dog's life.
What is a dog's life?
It's, divide a human's life by 7. You can start there.
Right. Is that actually true, though? Does that work out like that?
Well, let's find out. How old are you?
I'm 35.
Mm-hmm. And you expect to die in what, 2-3 years?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, divide by 7. That's
Yeah, divide that by 7, Mikey.
37.
Yeah.
Let's go with 42.
Oh, let's go with 42. Oh, let's go with a number divisible by 7. Okay, yeah.
And it's 6. Have you ever heard of a dog dying at 6?
It's 6 or I'm 6?
No.
6 o'clock at night?
Yes, if it's 6 o'clock at night and a dog dies, then basically the dog age to human age thing is 100% correct.
Okay, wait. What's the conversion rate on that? You lost me.
Which time zone are we talking?
Greenwich Mean Time.
Greenwich Mean Time. The average time.
0. Yeah.
The most basic human time.
Sounds like you're delaying.
Stalling?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what
Sounds
you
like
mean
your
by
favorite political figure of all time.
that. Yes.
You're Joseph Stalin.
Joseph Stalling. Yes. I mean, speaking of that, before I get into the answer about the dogs' ages and all that stuff, what was your favorite battle of World War II that involved dogs?
I'm trying to think of my favorite. It's tough. Like
There's
it's tough
so many to choose
It's tough
from
picking your favorite, right?
There's just two. How do you even start there?
I think it's Norman Doberman.
What?
It's of course Normandy.
I was really hoping that wasn't what it was.
Welcome to the Retrograde
podcast where we remind you what you used to love and whether or not you still should.
I'm Andrew Bascom, and with me, as always, the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Mikey Aaron Wolf.
Oh, that's Aaron Wolf. That's like just set it up. That's perfect.
Great.
That is perfect. Is that up there with the Mikey Andretti?
No, because that one's way more. I think that one's more
because it
creative.
Okay.
Mikey Andretti,
right?
Play on Mario. It was for Mario or for a racing game, but Mario's a game character. Yeah. I mean, there are tons of reasons why that one was very clever and will be unmatched by anyone making puns hence to forth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mikey, Aaron, hence to forth.
Yeah, good. That's good. Just lower and lower and lower.
Yeah.
Of course, that is Mikey Aaronworth, and we're back for another week of the Retrograde podcast.
We are, and I'm so excited to be back. Yeah. You know why?
What's that?
Because I'm here with my good buddy. No, you're looking at him.
Me?
I'm looking at him.
Yeah.
You're looking at me.
Yeah.
But
you're looking at me looking at him.
Oh, this is a real being John Malkovich situation. But
great
listen,
movie.
If you're new to this podcast, first of all, welcome.
Secondly,
typically what we like to do on this podcast is take a look back at the games that we used to play when we were kids.
Yeah.
Usually it's something that we used to play and have somewhat of an affinity towards, good or bad. We rate and review the game as we remember it back when we used to play it out of 4 bits, and then we take a little bit of a break, play the game, play you some of that gameplay, come back and rate it as it stands up in the modern day against the likes of modern games out of 4 bits as well. But before we get into the game, and today's game, obviously Mikey Aaron Wolf is a dog term because we are playing
that makes sense.
I would call it infamous Dog's Life on PlayStation 2.
To me, you can't use the word famous around it at all. I was completely unaware of its existence.
You're a cult classic. Let's call it a cult classic.
Is it really?
It absolutely is.
Oh, wow.
This game would have been, say, to a lesser degree, say Katamari Damacy had never gotten the sequel treatment and didn't reach that pulp acclaim.
Okay.
Dog's Life was, back in 2004 when it came out, a very almost sought after game. A lot of companies did not review it well, but a lot of them found this crazy charm in the game that was baffling to some people. I think, you look at 2004 and what was happening to gaming. Gaming was getting a little bit more hardcore, a little bit more adult.
Okay.
I think people were getting worried about reviewing something that is so childish as though it's something that they would enjoy. I honestly think there was an element of that to it. If this game came out today, I mean, we'll find out when we play it whether the controls hold up or they're just atrocious. But if it came out today and the controls were good, a game like this would be such a sweetheart to so many people because dogs are
oh boy.
Dogs are so sweet and they're innocent and
oh wow.
I think we don't deserve them at all. And then I just get laughed at for
We
saying
don't deserve dogs.
No one else says that except for me.
Yeah.
Because I think it's true.
Oh, yeah, do you?
I do.
Oh, man, yeah.
My dog just ran away from
Your
me.
dog just ran away. He doesn't like when you cry.
No. No one does, it turns out. All of my partners who did not come to fruition, they all didn't like when I cried.
Oh, no. It's tough to be in the same room with someone crying, though. Like, I don't think that's like...
Oh, so it's on me.
Well, yeah. Oh, okay. This is victim blaming to the highest degree.
Shit.
Mikey.
Yes.
Other than the sobbing about dogs, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Andrew.
Yeah.
I have a, I don't know. Let's call it a little bit of a surprise for you.
You have a surprise for me?
I don't know. Do I?
Every week's a surprise with you. So this, what does that mean?
Well, listen, I don't have clogs anymore, so that it's not that, right?
Yeah.
It's not the mystery box
Oh.
that I usually give you.
Okay.
With clogs in them.
Yeah, with clogs. Yeah. Oh, clogs again. I put it in my clog closet because it's
less your closet is what we've learned to call it. It's less of a mystery box when you know what's inside of it.
Yeah.
But it's the color of the clogs.
Absolutely. It's always great to rattle the box around and hear two wooden clogs clapping against each other. Oh, clogs.
But then there was the one time, and you remember when I gave you the mystery box.
And it was just a bunch of snakes. Just open it up and I'm like, snakes.
But you know why I put them in that box? I don't think you got the joke, is because my sink was clogged with those snakes.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't get that till right now.
We're at the
that was like
hospital
a year ago.
You did pass out after they hit you.
Yeah, I was terrified.
Yeah, I don't believe you. And you should be terrified of this.
Should I?
Coming. But Andrew, I've got a nice little weekend planned. I'm going to be going away, and I don't know. I bought myself something.
Oh no! Is this a Poppa's purchase?
By golly, it's Poppa's Purchases with me, Poppa Mikey. Get on board.
Yeah! I think we're about to find out, my man.
Okay, so you're about to show everyone yours Poppa's purchase.
Yes,
right
so
on.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see I brought a little bag there. It says H&M on it.
H&M.
There are no clothes in it.
Oh, okay. Relax.
I'm relaxed.
No,
I'm not crazy.
My favorite thing in the world when people yell they're not crazy and they sound insane.
But I've got something.
Okay, what is?
Guess what's in here?
Clogs.
Andrew, I ran out.
Oh, okay, good.
After my clog fire of '89.
It's a game of some kind.
No. I've got myself 2 new comic books. One of them is Batman White Knight.
Oh, that's great.
And one of them is Batman Damned.
Oh, Daniel.
Damned Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel. That's when Daniel gets sent to hell for too many white vans.
So the reason why I got these is because, a lot of people know this about me.
Yeah.
I like Batman. A lot.
A lot.
I've run out of cartoons to watch.
So
there are no more.
So now you have to go do, what are those, what are they called? Artisan cartoons? They're broken down cartoons.
Oh, you mean the ones where like you just write them on a flip book and then like, I'm writing.
Can you
my
do that
own
with that? You just flip through the pages really fast?
I only bought these so that I could find blank pages and just kind of like go like page through them like that really quickly.
My God, look at the back of this one. The Joker is dead.
The Joker is dead,
my goodness.
and Batman doesn't know who killed him.
Oh, so
and he thinks it may have been him, and there may be a possession, and guess who has to come save him?
Robin.
Constantine, baby.
Whoa!
I always love a good Constantine story.
Yeah,
so
Constantine.
I wanted to show that because I wanted to show a little bit of love to my BatHeads out there. Not to be confused with my BedHeads out there. And those are the fans of Major Bedhead from A Big Comfy Couch, the old Canadian children's show.
Yeah, and the BatHeads are your baseball fans that you talk to all the time.
Yeah, Utah is the place where they're from, too.
Utah.
Too.
Okay. Is that a big baseball place?
Yeah.
Oh, they love baseball
Salt
there.
Lake. They just stand at the edge of that lake and crack the bat, and the ball sails right into that giant Lake Placid crocodile's mouth.
Well, it's really high above, ocean level, so like things do fly further.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, now that sounds like a science I'd like to get into. Andrew, what about you? Anything that's new in your life, new in your world? Or are you excited? Are you dating? Do you miss me when we're not together? Like I don't know. You tell me.
Right.
Yeah.
No to all, but but no, things are good. I'm still boring video game stuff for me right now.
Just the Fortnites,
except for I opened up. I couldn't sleep one night, and I was thinking, what game will put me to sleep pretty fast?
It's not Overwatch.
No.
Red Dead.
No. Good guesses, though.
Death Stranding?
Okay, stop guessing.
Okay.
Civilization 6.
Oh, okay.
I was like, how much time do I have to give to this 8 to 9 hour game? Then I was like, oh, this is great. I'm going to start as the Germans, and I'm like, oh, I'm time to go to bed.
Yes.
Like, honestly, didn't even get to the classical age before I was like, sleepy time.
So do you check in on that game at all anymore or no?
I think the fear of that game is the time commitment related to it. Like, you just can't,
That's my fear of relationships, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing. You and Sid Meier, eh? Just buddy and buddy. Bachelors
we're
for
not
life.
that close.
No.
We're not that close.
Not swinging bachelors?
Nope. I can't commit that much time to a friend.
Oh.
Unless we have a podcast together. No, but do you find that apart from just trying to get to bed, do you have any craving to go back and play that game?
Civilization?
Yeah.
Not really, because I feel like I've gotten the hang of the basic play of it.
Yeah.
And to get much better, it's like a huge time devotion to figure out like, okay, so what are the best religious victories I can put into? I'm not joking. That's a real thing. About like spreading certain religions and pantheons and stuff like that. It's like,
Jesus Christ.
It's like, oh, okay.
Speaking of.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, I feel like it's like bit by bit where I'm like, oh, okay, well, what about this? What about that? And it's just like either I got to play it a lot going forward, or I just kind of give it up as a whole.
I get the sense that you actively don't enjoy the game. There's always a tone of resentment in your voice when you talk about it.
I think I resent that I'm not immediately very good at it.
Oh, okay.
I think there's something to be said about that. And then, but otherwise, it's like, I don't know. I'm such a sucker. You know, Sean Bean
I know that.
narrates that. Okay, relax.
Huh?
That was a setup for something else.
Oh.
Sean Bean narrates the game.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that was
so
Sean
they
Bean.
have these incredible openings. And every time the game starts, I'm like, man, this is exciting. Where it's like, it's Sean Bean and this like incredible choral orchestral music is like, no, 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 no. And it's like getting going. And he's like, Frederick the Conqueror, you're a wonderful man. And it just like leads him up of like, you'll show them all. And I'm like, yeah, I will. Thanks, Sean Bean. And I'm just like ready to fucking punch a screen. And then they're just like, move, stop.
Yeah.
Move, stop. I'm like, fuck. What? I fucking forgot that this game is incredibly annoying.
I know. It feels like a board game come to life, but
Well,
like
it is,
not in the best way possible, because some board games are a lot of fun. I often think about Sean Bean, but not in the way that most people think about him.
Sexually?
Wouldn't it be that's how most people think about it.
Oh,
yeah.
that's true.
Wouldn't it be amazing having such a simple name?
Sean Bean?
Sean Bean.
4 letters.
There wasn't a substitute teacher in the world that didn't knock that one out of the park.
Yeah. Other than the S and the B, they're the same name. It's just the same thing. No, they're the same fucking name. He's so close to Bean Bean or Sean Sean.
Now, okay, but here's the question. Why isn't it Scene Bean or Sean Bon?
Oh, they're the two different pronunciations of the same word.
Maybe it's a more complicated. You know what I like about this? It's
What's
like a perfect crystal, like a diamond. It's very simplistic in nature, but when you dig into it, it's more complicated.
Very
than
complicated.
It looks. Yeah,
you loved it because of its simplicity, and now you're frustrated by its complicated nature.
You know what? That's
just like you, really, at its heart.
Yeah, I think I lean more towards the simplicity than anything else. I just got 2 Batman comics, and I'm going to be happy as a clam for like the next 14 months.
And somehow, casually, in 15 minutes, you'll bring up, you're like, can't find a partner. I'm glad you're excited about your Batman cartoons. I'm excited that you are.
They're not cartoons; they're comics.
They're comics.
Yeah, well, graphic.
They're kind of cartoon stuff, but
I mean,
they're still motion cartoons.
If you move the pages fast enough, they will be in motion.
Yeah, one day.
Or when my future partner finds out that I have the collection, they will be in motion as she throws them out the window. Yes.
Me or the Batman cartoons, and you will sit there quietly and look at both longingly, like it's gonna be great. No, that's really cool. I've always wanted to go back and read some of the more classic comics that I've missed. I'm not trying to do that intentionally, by the way.
Well, it feels intentional.
Yeah. Other than the White Knight feels like a troublesome name because there's a bunch of people that I probably wouldn't agree with going by the White Knight.
That's
these
why
days.
I bought it. Yep. I'm very curious.
Son of the South.
Listen, when you say Batman is a White Knight, I'm like, oh, there's probably a story there somewhere. There's probably a story there somewhere.
If I really got to meet my heroes, there'd probably be a bunch of stuff I wouldn't like about Batman.
That's very true. I do have a question because I want to start to gear a little bit towards Dog's Life. Now, we have a very special interview coming up with at RevDead2 on Twitter.
So excited.
So we've been actually like gearing this up for quite a while. I don't know if you pay attention to us on Twitter. At Retrograde Mikey is my name. You're at Retrograde Andy.
Yes, sir.
We also have at Retrograde Pod, but at RevDead2 on Twitter, Detective Joe, she goes by. She's also got Twitch, Cremello Jojo, and we first learned about this person when we saw her. I honestly laugh thinking about them. She has a Twitch stream that we've mentioned on this podcast before, where very often first of all, she's obsessed with LA Noire, like to the point where how much is there more to do in this game? But she plays.
You're on the outside on this one. I'm with her.
That's fair. That's fair. She plays in VR.
Yeah.
And Red Dead VR is notoriously
LA
just.
Noire.
You
said Red Dead. It's always somewhere bubbling underneath the surface. It's you thinking about Red Dead. And then you're
really
like, I don't like that game. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's really like got its teeth in.
Yeah.
But yeah, LA Noire VR. And she just kind of runs around in the open world, and the most funny thing happens. But we've been talking about having her on the podcast because we find what she does to be very funny. You should definitely go check her out. Once we take a little bit of a break, we're going to dedicate some time with our interview to talk about Dog's Life. But before we talk about the game specifically, Andrew, because I actually do have some experience with it. Not much, but you don't have any experience with it, right?
No.
So usually what we would do is rate and review the game as we actually remember it, had we played it back in the day. But what we're going to have to be doing is playing the game and then giving it a review based on what we think we would have thought about it if we had played it back in 2004. But before we get into the gameplay, as I said, I have a question for you about dogs in general.
Oh, okay.
As they pertain to video games. Because I have a very love-hate relationship with dogs in video games.
Completely agree.
And by that, I mean, I love dogs in real life, but fucking hate them in video games. I rarely find a game where you turn it on, find out there's a dog in it that you have to fight. And
you have to fight the dog?
Anytime a dog attacks you. Not in this game. Not in this game.
I see.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about more as when you have a companion that's a dog.
Oh, that's great. I fucking love that.
Do you?
I
always find it to be so superfluous. Like, it's always like, if they weren't there, the game would not change at all, and that sucks.
Well, Peter Molyneux may have something to say about that.
What, is that Fable?
That's Fable.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So because I'm in my, when you started talking, I was just creating a list in my head of like, I thought you were going to ask, what's your favorite dog in a game?
I do want to get into it. Favorite and least favorite dog appearances in video games. Because I'll start with one to give you some time to think, because I know you need as much as you can get. But I think, sorry.
No, nothing. Sorry, yeah. Don't mind me. Just thinking of ideas.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
I love the dog in Fable 2.
Yeah, right.
I love the dogs in Nintendogs. You ever heard of that game?
Yeah, I have heard of that game.
I bought that. Buying that game was the most embarrassing thing I've ever done in my life. My mom had to drive me to Best Buy.
Yeah.
I didn't tell her what we were there for, because I don't think she would have driven me if I told her I was getting Nintendogs.
You were a child, right?
Yes.
And you just said, hey, I got to go to Best Buy?
Yeah.
And she's like, cool?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Anything to get me out of the house.
No, I think she has to leave too, though.
Yeah, but it's more about airing it out. The stench finally leaves for a little bit, right?
I don't think I would have let that clear. My mom would not like, you got to drive to Best Buy. Why?
I just said I was going to buy.
Nintendogs? God fucking God. Fuck you.
I just said I have to buy a video game.
Yeah.
And when we were there in line, I bought Nintendogs. And
did you get two? Did you get two different things, like a cooler game, and you put it over top and you're like, I don't need this one. Like when you buy condoms for the first time or something like that, and you have to like, I got to buy a magazine and cornflakes.
Cornflakes.
Yeah.
Walking into I guess it would be Rexall or something like that in the US, London. I don't know, what do they have in the US? Walgreens.
Walgreens, there you
right?
go. Yeah.
You go in and it's always like, ours is Shoppers Drug Mart.
I think you could have said a drugstore. Like, what the hell's a drug? Oh,
people relate to specifics, Andrew. They love specifics.
Yeah.
That's what they are always telling me.
Yeah.
They're saying, Mikey, be more specific.
About
drugstores.
Your pain. Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, I go to the drugstore to heal the pain that I have. Some of it is
so you buy a really cool game and you have Nintendogs underneath.
Yes.
And then you get to the front, you're like, oh, I already have that one.
Yes.
I guess I'll just get this for my sister.
Yeah. I tried to own it as best as I could, and it was one of those things. Have you ever had this moment where you buy a game,
yeah,
and after bringing it home and playing it for 5 minutes, you immediately know you're going to hate it.
Absolutely.
What games do you remember any specifics?
I'm trying to
I can say one if you need more time to think about it.
Oh, fuck you. Yeah, let me think of one. Actually, no, embarrassingly, Siphon Filter. And it was because I think it was just I bought it too early for my gaming where I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And I was immediately confused.
Yes.
Thank God the internet existed. Just felt like in that moment. All of a sudden, I looked over at a computer. I'm like, wait, I wonder if that thing will tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And there was one of the first times I went over there and go, what do I do?
GameFAQs.com.
Yeah. Some guy that submitted it with like text images. You know what I mean?
They would write out Siphon Filter with like slashes and equal signs and stuff.
I remember like, and then immediately getting it and like trying again. But there was a moment because like my dad like was like, we just bought a video game. What the hell? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
So that was embarrassing to me.
Yes.
So I think ultimately I disliked the dogs in Nintendogs.
Oh, so dogs, yes.
Yeah, what would be some of your least favorite appearances of dogs in video games?
Anytime I get to know dogs and then eventually have to hurt dogs. And I think Last of Us 2 goes right to the top of my mind because in the best way possible is that like when you were playing as Ellie, going through, I guess it's a minor spoiler, who the fuck cares, is that when you're playing in that first half with Ellie and these dogs are so vicious and can take you down so fast and you eventually kill a lot of dogs, which is not fun, but you're
fucking hate it.
Michael Vick.
Hate killing dogs.
Madden 2004, that's one of my least favorite references of dogs. Is that you hate it. It sucks, but it feels like an inevitability. Like, well, it's like, I also like don't killing people, but hey, we got to do it to survive, right? And then in the second half with Abby, you meet the dogs in the kennels and stuff, and you're like, and you actually can see their names. And you remember seeing like, oh, Boomer. Oh, shit, I killed Boomer.
Oh, Boomer's
and I'm
going
like,
down.
And I'm like, oh my God. And it's like,
I ironically killed Boomer with a bomb arrow. Like, oh no.
I took a brick to his head. That is such a, it's awful. I hated it.
Yeah.
But it's a really great reference to add emotion to something where you're like, oh no, you feel guilt even though what did you do? You know?
I think about that all the time with The Last of Us. A fucking fantastic game.
So
and I
good.
don't want to say what I'm about to say to take away from the game because I don't know what you do to create a 40, 50 hour game and fix this somehow. But the problem is you've also killed 900 people because in that scene where you're Abby walking around your compound and you see the one dog that you remember killing, the named one, then you walk into the morgue and there are 100 bodies.
Yes, Ellie is literally Nathan Drake in this situation, and there's one tiny person has just assassinated a clan of people.
Yeah. And
it's unbelievable.
It's something that the game often tries to do. It is the core thesis of the game, I think, is basically like, do you regret doing what you're doing? Revenge and violence and all this stuff, and trying to make you feel. But it is hard to make you feel when the goal is to kill 20 people.
Yeah, well, the whole game is survival,
yes.
right? Like no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's zombies, people, dogs, whatever. You're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Since we're going to get to like best, I'm having trouble thinking of a game like this. But, okay, really at the end of the day, these are companion missions in a lot of ways, right? Yeah. You have something with you that isn't really acting on its own. You have to protect it, and it doesn't fully contribute all the time to what you're trying to do. But when it goes to companion missions, which I hate in general, like escort missions, things like that.
I despise them.
Hate them so much. Remember BioShock Infinity, where you had
Infinite.
Yep. Thank you very much. Where you had the woman, I forget her name, and she would throw you ammo and sometimes go aside or open up a portal and help you out and stuff like that. I'm like, more missions should be like this,
100%,
where I can have something that can never get hurt and only can help me.
And The Last of Us did this as well, which is great. Whenever you have a companion with you, the enemies cannot see that person.
Yes.
And I don't care how unrealistic that is. Until you make the AI fucking perfect, never punish me for the fact that the person who is walking with me and can barely make it through a fucking door without getting hung up draws all the enemies towards me.
It's just standing there like, there they are. I'm like, oh, God damn it. Why are you standing? I'm crouching under something. Huh? You deserve to die.
Yeah, I do like that, though. Finding ways to integrate. Speaking of Resident Evil, I mentioned I hate the dogs in Resident Evil. One of the least, I think maybe the worst example of companions in video games is Resident Evil 5. I can't remember what her name is, Shifa, I think, or something along those lines.
Sure.
She's the companion. She fucking steals your med kits. She's constantly dying. Doesn't know what to do. She's always in your way. She's always getting hung up on doors, and she's literally with you the entire time. If she dies, you lose. and she'll have like a little scratch on her arm and use like your red herb, which is a full heal, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? I need that. We're about to fight Wesker soon again for the 19th time in the Resident Evil franchise.
Wow, this has really opened up something for
I
you.
don't even care that much anymore, and I'm not even crazy either. It's just the looks that you're giving me right now. It's not. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what are some of your favorite dogs in video games?
I love dog meat from the Fallout franchise.
Okay, I knew that was going to come up.
Yeah,
Fallout, I've never played.
Franchise. I think it's Fallout 4 is where dog meat's
I
from.
thought dog meat always is in the game. No, it's only
Could be.
Fallout 4.
Honestly, I don't know enough about Fallout. I love the franchise, but I'm very hot and cold on like how much I actually play it.
Yeah. Dog meat, by the way, a name I've never liked.
You don't like that?
Freaks me out a little bit.
Oh, you don't like the name dog meat? I think the intention is for you to really take to it.
People have like quite affection for dog meat, and that also makes me uncomfortable even saying those words out loud.
I bet you there are people out there who have named their dogs dog meat, and imagine every
Yikes.
time they have to explain that to another person at the dog park. Just good luck. Fucking good luck.
Well, it's just like you in Batman cartoons, probably. You know what I mean?
The problem is when they say dog meat at the dog park, everyone starts asking them questions.
Yes.
When I say Batman at
that's
the dog
true.
park, no one wants to ask me a question.
No, no one's convinced you're going to cannibalize your dog. Yes. Like we're dog meat. Come here. It's like, uh-oh. Oh, God. We got to go.
What
Come here.
if you said that and all the dogs walk towards you? They just perk up, eyes over to you, and just start walking towards you.
Oh God, that's terrifying.
There's this. As I've mentioned before, I haven't played too much since the last time I've spoken about it. But Majora's Mask, I've been playing Majora's Mask, and there's.
Sorry, I want to ask about you finishing games later.
No, you can ask me. We're busy though. We've got a schedule to keep. I just don't know how much time I'm going to have to answer that question for you.
Okay, so
when eventually we might get there, so you can ask.
Okay.
and then I'll just
So you do your bit about Majora's Mask, but you've played video games this week, right?
I mean, the whole thing is that you say I don't finish video games,
Right.
And I'm destined to prove that wrong. And we'll get to it. We'll get into it
Okay,
in a bit.
that's great.
But we're running really low on time.
No, I get that.
I should get to my bit.
You did play video games this
Yeah,
week,
I
right?
should get to. I will answer. Is that part of the question you're going to ask?
I think they're part and parcel, yeah.
Oh, okay. Part and parcel. Now, isn't that an interesting saying? Because it's like part and parcel, but yet it's all one thing. I mean, it's just, oh, shoot, we're running so low on time.
You know what? You
No, you
can
can
keep
try.
going. No,
You can
it's
try.
okay. I just want to continue on the series of Mikey Doesn't Finish. This is week 374, and the series continues. Continue with Majora's Mask.
Week 364.
It's probably, no.
No.
It's got to be 150.
172?
3? 72.
Plus bonuses.
Plus bonuses. So yeah, we're a good couple weeks in.
So Majora's Mask, there is a mask that you can get that allows you, a lot of them have like a little special move. It's either an attack or something that benefits you somehow.
Yeah.
And if you put on this one mask, it's like a chicken mask. And when you press the special button, you play a flute and walk around so adorably. And all the animals just start following you in a line.
Cute.
And I walk around town playing that flute so often. You just...
Like St. Patrick and the Snakes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a real Pied Piper kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the dogs will follow you as well.
Oh, that's
so
adorable. I was thinking about a dog in Stardew Valley, and I think, that actually is part of the ones where I hate it. It doesn't need to be there. It literally, I don't need to feed it. I don't need to do anything. It runs around just like, hey, what's up? You're like, this is not good.
I love that.
Why?
Because here, I've got a dog, and she's so cute. And she just walked away as I looked over to her.
Yeah.
But I fucking hate feeding her.
No, right.
I hate that I have to walk her.
Yeah.
I love picking up that shit.
That awoke something deep inside of me.
That's why I got her.
But to me, it's like, if that dog is going to be on a farm, it should be like, oh, you got crows or something like that. And the dog runs over and gets the crows away.
So you want it to benefit you somehow.
I want it to interact in some capacity.
Yeah, okay.
If it disappeared, the game would not change in a second.
Whereas if my dog disappeared, I would become a shell of myself so quick. quickly.
But you know what? Even to be honest, if Stardew Valley, if the dog ran away one day and the mission is to go get the dog back in the map, that's interesting at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of Stardew, though, it's now going to be available on Xbox Game Pass.
I've heard that.
A lot of very good indie game announcements in the past couple weeks, and we are running a little bit low on time. But Axiom Verge in the Nintendo Indie World Conference, they announced Axiom Verge 2, which is a follow-up to a very popular, I think, 2015 game. They announced they were thinking Q3 of this year. Available day of the announcement, which is really fucking cool.
That's cool.
And if I didn't have these comics to read, I would definitely be buying it this weekend.
Okay.
In fact, I'm probably going to buy it this weekend.
So is that also a Poppa's purchase?
So not yet, because I don't have it yet.
Okay, maybe
I don't
next
have
week.
it yet, but I might. But it is another game.
And maybe next week you'll have beat a game.
Oh, so we're running really low on time right now. I know. Did you have a question? Okay, why don't you ask the question? We got time for a bit more.
Okay. Have you beaten any games this week?
Oh, and with that, we got to go. So after the break, we're going to be talking to @RevDead2 Detective Joe about the game Dog's Life, a game that she absolutely loved. Andrew, I will get to your question in between the breaks. I will want off mic. So I'll get to that off mic because I've definitely
That's not the point.
I'm definitely intending on finishing games.
Okay,
for sure. So we will see you guys after the break, and I promise you are going to be laughing your little tails off.
Intending to finish.
Okay, and we are back. Thanks again for joining us and taking that little break. It's not even really a break. It's just a musical tone. Imagine we dropped listeners because we took that break and played the musical tone.
They were just looking for an excuse.
Yeah, they're barely hanging on at this point anyway. They just hear that at Jolts and they're like, that was a little too loud. Unsubscribe, dislike, remove their review from the store. We are joined, as we mentioned, coming into this by Detective Joe Leanne @RevDead2. Who we came across first on Twitter because of her Twitch antics, primarily playing L.A. Noire in VR. That's kind of not primarily anymore, but that's what we got turned on to the Twitch streams by. Joe, how are you doing today?
I am doing absolutely fine. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh man,
how are you guys?
This isn't a thank us thing. I've been excited to have this. I legitimately laugh out loud every time I watch the clips from your stream. I have a question as well. You know, as of the time of the release of this episode, this may be a little bit dated, but a couple weeks ago, you had some fun with a drunk Zambuca stream. I think you were playing Dead by Daylight.
Oh, that was 2 days ago.
2 days ago, as of recording. Are you feeling the hangover a little bit, or how are you feeling there? No way.
No, I actually feel fine. Do you know what? Right. I had bad time on gin before. So me and gin are not friends. Okay. Me and gin are not friends. So I've had a bad time on gin. So I decided to try the Sambuca because I knew that it would get me sloshed rather quickly, and in small amounts. So I did that.
Well, did you know? Starting at the beginning of this podcast, Andrew's nickname was gin. So if you've had a bad time with gin, guess what? We've all had a bad time with gin at some point.
Yeah. We are not compatible.
No, we're not.
No, honestly.
Yeah. Sambuca. Interesting choice.
So
Lord.
Obviously the game of the week that we're talking about is Dog's Life. Now we reached out because we wanted to have you on the podcast in some capacity. And you suggested a couple games, some of which we'd already done. Dog's Life stood out to me completely right off the bat. It's a game that I remember coming out and being fascinated by, not being sure whether I wanted to play it or not. My experience with it was super, super limited at the time that I played it, but I was I wanted to buy it very bad, but I was kind of at that age where it's like, you don't play a video game about doggies. Like you play a video game about anything else that's coming out around that time. Joe, what's your experience with this game, Dog's Life? Came out, obviously, actually kind of weird, developed by Frontier Developments, came out in October of 2003 in Europe, and 2004 in September in North America.
We weren't ready for it.
A year went by.
We weren't ready for it.
We weren't ready for it. The North Americans needed an extra year to prepare.
Well, I actually played it when it came out. Probably maybe a few months after, because I got it obviously from the local game store, and it wasn't actually a game that I was like stoked to play. I was 12 years old at the time when it came out, so I don't really remember how I was feeling at the time. I was, all I cared about was food and going out with my friends, you know, and school and all that sort of stuff. And so yeah, I thought, wow, a game about a dog. I mean, yeah, let's play it. So I did, and for as limited as it is, it's actually it's probably the cutest little game I've ever played. And the soundtrack's amazing, I think. Really
I love
good
the
game.
idea that you don't have to overcomplicate the idea.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
game about a dog. Why wouldn't I want to play that?
Exactly.
Right. And you get what you're expecting out of the box as well. Like it's Andrew and I, just kind of doing some research on this before we bust it out because we haven't played the game yet, but we're looking forward to it. That's why you're on here as the resident expert.
see.
But the
Okay.
limited video of the game appears to show a dog that is fairly dog-like, like in a way that sounds very obvious, but like I was surprised with how well they animated this dog.
Yeah, that's something I was thinking to myself earlier. Actually, the animations of the dog, all the dogs in the game. Actually, the animations are so fluid.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's so smooth. It's really funny because I was watching it earlier. I'm thinking, oh my god, like if this was made now, imagine how cool it would be now. I mean, they wouldn't have this story and smell-o-vision and all that stuff, but
I remember that, from the limited amount that I did play it. It was a rental for me, and I think I barely even played it when I did rent it, but I do remember that feeling of uniqueness to it. And I constantly think nowadays, would a game like this be enough if it were released today to be a full release? And I look at something like Untitled Goose Game, and all that is you are a goose doing goose things, because geese are
Goose
assholes.
things.
Yeah.
So why?
Goose Simulator.
Yeah, exactly. Why not have a game where you are a dog? Like I would love a remake of this game, and I bet you one of the issues that we're going to have is typical early PlayStation 2 things like bad camera, dated graphics, probably some bad sound design. But if you bump this up and like a Nintendo Switch release, like a quick 6-hour game, I feel like this would be such a cult classic.
Oh, me too, yeah. There's a lot of things I could say about this game. Obviously, I'm kind of on the spot, so I can't really think of everything right now.
And we
but
called you up in the
swimming
middle of the night, and we said, you talk now
Yeah.
about Dog's Life.
Yeah.
Oh dear, but yeah, there's a few bugs with it. There's a few things like certain angles you can't jump onto things unless you're at a certain angle, things like that. And Jake he suddenly becomes very lethargic from falling from heights, that you haven't even asked him to jump from, and it's like, for God's sake, what are you doing? And then the next thing you know, you need a bone or to eat out of your food bowl to get your strength back up, and it's like, for God's sake, it's all the way across the map. I can't be bothered with this.
Isn't that such an annoying trope of games from this era where they just feel like there needs to be punishment for everything no matter what? And that was something like a hangover of the old arcade days. But nowadays we're getting to the point where like, you look at something like Super Meat Boy, an incredibly difficult game, but a game where when you die, you are immediately back at the beginning. The punishment is just do it right this time. It's not like in A Dog's Life where run all the way back home, fill up your power meter, and then go try it again. Just an arbitrary time tax. Those things bug me, especially in a game that's trying to be so quirky. Like it's trying to be fun and lively, right? How much time did you spend with this game, Joe, when you played it?
When I played it originally, it's a game that I could go back and play any time because obviously it's a game that holds a little special place in my heart, really, with many other games, of course. But this one, it's so nostalgic to me because when I first played it, I was amazed by it.
Yeah.
And it was difficult at the time. Obviously, like I said, I was 12 years old, so like games were quite difficult for me anyway. I'm not a crazy gamer who wants to play everything and be good at everything.
Sure.
I just play for fun. And this little game, there's a lot of challenges in it. Some challenges I'd still find difficult today because of the clunky controls, but I'd still enjoy it,
Yeah.
And it's not frustrating to me. So
it wouldn't be frustrating because to me, I'd rather have flat out difficulty.
Maybe a little.
In the game. Yeah. So because you
Maybe a little,
you
yeah.
make like your whole thing is playing a notoriously broken game in LA Noire VR. Like it is so broken, and that's where a lot of the comedy
breaking
comes
it
from.
myself.
Yeah, you're doing the best you can to do that as well.
Yeah, I do.
But I love that you're able to find fun in that, and I think that I think myself, I don't know what about you, Andrew. You can mention you could give your opinion on this after, but I am kind of
thanks.
a jade. Yeah, you wait your turn. We've heard from Joe. Let's hear from me,
thanks.
and then if the listener
Thanks
wants
for the
to stick
permission.
around, for it, then feel free to say whatever you want, but keep it quick.
Mikey, can I give my opinion now?
Yes, sir, but whispered into my ear, and then I'll tell the listener. I'm kind of like a jaded gamer at this point. Like, I expect polish. If nothing else, I expect polish in my games. And it's very hard for me, especially, weird that I have a retro video game podcast that because what you're dealing with constantly when you're looking backwards is clunky controls and bad cameras, especially in that. Andrew, you and I talk about all the time, PlayStation 2 era of games. So it's nice to hear that you're able to just sort of let go and enjoy a game with all its warts, because you're notoriously also full of warts. They're just everywhere, and it's
frog person.
You are a typical frog person, and we relate to that. So that's good.
Typical.
Andrew, do you relate to that? Like in terms of having lots of warts and appreciating games, warts and all?
Well, it's kind of like two things. Where I think the first one is that if the concept is good enough to carry your hope and your optimism that the game will eventually pay off in some capacity, that like story or narrative, you're like, oh yeah, then I'm okay dealing with, some bullshit along the way. And then the second thing is just doing this podcast has opened my eyes to being a little bit more tolerant to these mistakes, because otherwise it would be like, not good enough, throw the controller aside. And now it's like, oh no, there's been real, like I think Jelly Boy a couple weeks ago, where it's like, what the fuck is this? And then halfway through you're like, you know what? This is pretty good. So I think it's a little bit of both.
I agree. Now, I want to talk also about the company that developed this game. Obviously, PlayStation 2 released October 2003 in Europe, and the reason why it had a Europe initial release is because it was developed by Frontier Developments, a studio that's located in Cambridge. Joe, you'll be familiar with that. If the listener is too soft-brained to tell, that accent of yours comes from somewhere across the pond. Sorry, smooth brain. What's the term you always use, Andrew? Smooth brain?
No, smooth brain. Yeah, smooth brain. Yeah.
Smooth brain. Cambridge. And this kind of gives us something in common, Joe. I went to school in Halifax, which is a city on the east coast of Canada. And they opened a second studio in Halifax as well, which was very quickly closed. But they played some other they made some other games. And I want to run these by you and see if you guys have played any of these. The Elite series, so like Elite Dangerous, Thrillville, Roller Coaster Tycoon 3.
Yes.
Thrillville, right? Zoo Tycoon.
Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. So 2 and 3. And then the Wallace and Gromit games, which I fucking love Wallace and Gromit. I would love to bring those back on this. And then like 400 other roller coaster games, like so many fucking roller coaster games that this has made. Thrillville's a great one, though. What about Zoo Tycoon? Have you guys tried Zoo Tycoon?
I think I played the first one. It didn't really interest me, to be honest.
Okay.
But Thrillville, I absolutely adore that game.
Yeah. I don't know why I have to be a tycoon and everything. Like, I'm okay being like a strong, independent entrepreneur. I don't know why I need to ravage my opponents. Like, I just feel like tycoon. I don't know. That feels awkward. And especially when it comes to zoos. Mikey, my morals don't align with that. Thank you very much.
Why can't we just create the park and just visit it ourselves as a tourist? That'd be really nice, wouldn't it?
That's true. Yeah, give us a VR version where we could just explore the zoos we've made in the goggles.
Sure.
That's the direction we're headed. Hell yeah.
I like that actually. Just a little bit more immersive and less confrontational, less challenging. It's less like, hey, you see that zoo across the pond? Why don't you fucking crush that? I want all those animals dead by the end of this. You strangle the life out of them.
Is this pond an actual pond, or are we talking about the Atlantic Ocean again?
This is an actual pond. This one.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, yes.
Yes, it's a very Montague and Capulet type Zoo Tycoon where you can kind of see it across the city. Yeah. Just don't marry any of their daughters because that's not allowed.
Oh no.
I'm gonna fall in love
with the daughter of the other tycoon. Oh God, damn it!
So this game, to kind of like highlight the absurdity of this game, I want to talk a little bit about the story. So you are Jake, or as he says, Mr. Jake, and you live in Clarksville, which is like the typical Norman Rockwell American suburbia city.
Country area, yeah.
When you were playing this, Joe, are you watching this like, yes, this is exactly what I imagine America to be, front and back? This is like, is that your interpretation of America as a 12-year-old living in the UK? Back
as a 12-year-old, definitely. Because Yeah, I didn't really have that many brain cells to to have my own idea of what America was like. So I guess these video games gave us the visuals we needed.
It's all you needed.
So, yeah, it's all we needed. But yeah, nowadays, obviously, you look back and it's like, wow, this is so stereotypical with the Sweet Home Alabama theme going on in the background. Do you remember that? Yeah. Oh my God, there's a lot of stuff in here. Like they've inspired it. They've been inspired by multiple things like that, and you can definitely hear it in the soundtrack. You can see it, from what you can see from the gameplay, and yeah,
well, we can speak to the fact that is 100% what all of America is like, and even some of Canada.
Yes.
Now the crazy part about this game is it's so light and so like the product pitch is like you're a dog and you have smell-o-vision and you get to pick up these scents and this and that, but the story ends up getting like
it's dark, pretty dark. Yeah.
So Mrs. Peaches, who is an advertisement that plays throughout the level. She is the head of a cat food company, and she's always advertising the cat food. It turns out there's a conspiracy to capture dogs, turn them into cat food, and then feed them to the cats. So what Jake is doing in the beginning, his love interest, it's a typical Mario Peach situation.
It is.
Very Mario Peach. He's got to rescue Daisy. And because Daisy's about to be turned into cat food, and not through natural causes. Now, here's one thing that I have as a 12-year-old playing this game, Joe. I want you to walk me through
natural causes. Like she died of loneliness and then he turned into cat food, or what happened?
Just pick her up on the side of the road.
If I die in my condo alone, I turn into dog food, whether I like it or not. I have a dog; it will eat me, and I hope it does.
One last
as opposed to
gift
falling in a fucking machine that grinds me into kibble. Like that could also happen, but that's not going to happen in my condo. I want to get your impression here, Joe, on I don't know if you ended up beating the game, but I looked up the ending of this game.
Yeah.
And I also watched the opening cinematic. So I have the bookends of this story very burned into my head. We start in the beginning of this game where Jake, who is, Mr. like the dog, the kind of troublemaker dog that like no one really likes. He looks at Daisy and gives her kind of like a, hey, baby. And she looks at him like just so off put. Like she just swallowed a bucket of mayonnaise or something. That's the look on her face. Very relatable to me. I get it. And I feel for Jake in this situation. So his reaction is to blow out an enormous fart. And she is repulsed by it, obviously.
What?
But that's the last.
Yeah.
That's the last that Jake and Daisy see of one another until the end of the game. After Jake gets her back, saves her, and they're together. They're together. She hated him, and all of a sudden I'm thinking this was like, is there room for a game where there's a mastermind that arranges for the kidnapping of the quote-unquote princess to save them so that the princess falls in love with the person? I bet you there should be a game like that.
There should be a game like that. Yeah.
It's like if
I would forgive the farting really fast if you saved my life. Like I don't know. I know
True.
you guys are
I
like
guess
shocked
that's where
by
it comes
this.
from. Yeah.
But you just saved my life. Like there's a real Florence Nightingale thing to this where I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Hey, what's up,
Andrew? You've always believed that like chivalry is very much not dead, and that if a man does something for a woman, that they should in turn marry him for that. I mean, you've been very vocal about those beliefs on this podcast before.
Oh yeah, please paint me that I have a book of IOUs, and every time I do something nice, I'm like, well,
where's mine?
a little peck on the cheek. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I put my jacket down on a rain puddle or whatever horse shit they used to paint as. Yeah. That made no sense to me ever, by the way. I was always like, what?
Same.
Why? Huh?
Same.
Well, Joe,
Is your shoes made of suede or what's going on here?
Joe, you living in the UK, you got a lot of rain. Has anyone ever laid down a jacket for you to walk over a puddle?
No, sadly, nobody does anything for me. So,
Oh,
no, that would be a dream, to be honest. But then,
That's fair.
Then I'd feel bad because their coat got wet. So
Yeah, I'm not stepping on that coat. Are you kidding me?
What are you doing with the coat the rest of
are
the
you
night?
stupid?
Yeah. Holding it?
I was in when I was in Halifax, there was a rainstorm and I was going to get coffee with a friend of mine, and we were kind of that I brought it up. I always bring up Halifax, and we were like kind of like will they, won't they sort of thing. And this is young Mikey. This is what goes through his head. We're about to walk over a puddle. I pick her up and walk her over the puddle.
Oh my God.
Like I'm fucking walking her into our wedding home and then put her down. Anyway, we never dated, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it wasn't my shining moment, I don't think.
Was your sales pitch, I'll carry you everywhere?
Yeah, she said, carry me back home right now, you creep, I think.
How much have you had to drink, sir?
Yeah, not even my coffee yet. Too much Zambuca, though, Joe. I think that's what I had.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Mikey.
Yep.
So the story and everything is interesting. I think this game is going to live or die based on whether or not we enjoy the premise of running around as a dog. The reviews were all over the place. It averaged like a 64% on Metacritic, but in and around that, you did have Famitsu giving it some like an 8s and 7s. IGN gave it a 7. Game Zone gave it a 9. Like, some people did like this game, and I think it ultimately came down to, could you turn on that part of your brain that was more about roaming and enjoying as opposed to, you know, maybe a specific story, because it doesn't seem like the story is what anyone's sticking around for. Joe, do you want to go in and maybe give this one a rating out of 4 bits based on what you remember of it?
I to be honest, Mikey, I would give it the highest because I love this game. I love this game.
I love hearing
I
that.
would play this, you know, I don't know. I have it here. I would play it anytime. I just feel like it. Stick it in. I'm going to play it. Maybe for like 10 minutes and then play something else. But, you know, it's just the nostalgia of getting in there and just seeing it again, because the graphics are crap. The music, it cuts out in places. But what's not to love about being able to fart and pee on people and have them react to you? So, yeah, I'd give this one the highest rating because I love it.
The box quote from Joe. What's not to love about farting and peeing on people?
Yeah,
I feel like that's a great one there.
There you go.
That's so funny, and I love hearing that. Like, it's like, Joe, you should have a retro gaming podcast where you're able to enjoy these games for what they are. Andrew and I are just like, oh no, we should. Andrew's giving me the net cut to the camera.
Crowded market.
Yeah, we don't want anyone cutting our. Yeah, no one. Don't cut our grass. Don't cut our grass. Never mind, Joe. I think you'd actually be terrible on a retro gaming podcast.
Yeah.
I think you should shut down your Twitch stream now because I even suggested it.
Gonna go cry in the corner.
Make sure you film it if you do. I think there's a market for that on Twitch as well. Women crying in corners.
Yes.
There's a lot of real creeps on
I'll get
Twitch.
a lot of subs for that one. Let me tell you that.
Well, speaking of, Joe, do you want to throw out your Twitch handle for us?
Yes, my Twitch handle is Cremello Jojo.
You want to spell that? Because I know there's a lot of L's and O's
there's
and
a lot.
M's.
Yes, there's a lot of things in there. CREMELLO Jojo. There you go.
There you go.
Jojo.
That's
that works.
the one.
Less complicated than
Thank
I
you so
remembered.
much.
One last closing bit of tidbit. I'll leave you with a little bit of trivia. I'm going to start with telling you that this game has a Guinness World Record.
What?
That's true. This game has a Guinness World Record.
Serious?
And it is that this had the voice actress who played the most number of characters in a single game. And I want you guys to guess how many that is. Andrew, you start first, and then Joe will get your answer.
29.
All right, Joe, what about you?
I don't know, I have no idea. I'm going to say 25.
25? Okay. No, Andrew, you're right. It was 32 characters.
Whoa!
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Voiced by Carrie Shale.
Carrie
Shale,
I've heard
obviously
of her.
the most
Yeah.
Winnipeg name I've ever heard in my entire life, Winnipeg being a city in Canada. But she lives in London and was an actress who was in Barbara Streisand's Yentl. So there's a little good bit of information.
Whoa!
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Whoa!
I'm super excited to play this game. Joe, one final question for you. 2004 was a decent game, a decent year for games. That's when we got this game. I want to ask you, if you had the opportunity to play one game from 2004, and I'm going to give you 2 examples, and you have to tell me which one. You could either play Half-Life 2 or A Dog's Life for the rest of your life. Which game is it going to be?
A Dog's Life.
I actually believe you when you say that. I fully believe you when you say that.
You
and I
should,
love it.
because I am being absolutely 100% honest.
That's amazing.
Oh, wow.
I love it. Joe, thanks for joining us as well. And make sure to check her out at Cremello Jojo or at RevDead2 on Twitter. Joe, it was a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us. We will see everyone on the other side for the gameplay, and then we'll get back with our reviews.
Take care.
All right, so we are a dog.
Listen.
And we are, which I think we're going to go straight to the center doghouse. Like, why wouldn't you, right?
Okay, so Mikey, this game.
Yes.
It's not
great.
It's not going to be sad, is it? This is not like Marley and Me bullshit where the dog dies at the end. Spoiler
really hope
alert.
not.
This isn't going to be some kind of Bambi bullshit or something like that, right?
If it is, I'll turn it off right now.
Okay.
So there's a dog.
Oh, and it's very human.
He's very anthropomorphic, and the guy voicing him is... How cool is that? Very human as well. I don't even think he knew he was voicing a dog in this.
No.
He thought he was just a human.
What if we just told you you're a cool guy? Well, here I was, just licking my balls.
So this is what we know about this dog so far.
Oh my
lady,
God.
The lady dog hates him.
Yes.
He kills butterflies by farting.
Yes. He killed
then-
a butterfly by farting.
And then he farted at his lady friend and was so satisfied by it.
I can't get over that they are very much dogs. I need to express this.
Yes.
They're very much dogs, but their faces are rolling their eyes, giving a little winking and
Well,
smiling.
have you never seen a Pixar movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no. A dog catcher just came to their house?
He's also dressed in wrestling garb.
Why is he in wrestling garb?
Oh, he's allergic to dogs. So this dog catcher scientist type person.
Can I play with them nice doggies?
Well, this is, I don't know what we're dealing with
Yikes.
so far.
So it's like a Lenny from Mice and Men type person
yes.
with like, I just want to hug them and stuff like that.
just want a hug.
Yeah.
Oh, door
And
opens in the back. Oh, but his little girlfriend.
His little friend he liked is
His consenting girlfriend.
yes, who definitely was also interested.
Definitely was very interested in his farts. Because he farted a lot.
My head. What the?
Wait, they made him do the voice or
Hey, Jake, how's it hanging? Come on, I'll race you to the top of the hill.
Oh, brother. People are...
Well, he's expecting Jake to understand a lot. This
Yeah.
little kid walks up to him and is like, I'll race you to the top of the hill.
You have to, the dog has to understand race and top of the hill. So we've gone into smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision, the pillar of light indicates that boy is carrying a bone. And I'm going to get it from him.
I'm going to get that bone.
I'm going to get that bone.
It's like Mikey on a Friday night.
Jumped over their fence.
Whoa.
Oh, I just scared a horse.
Horse cast!
Here's the... Look,
Whoa.
I don't care what you say. He moves like a dog.
Yeah, okay, sure, yeah. Like, hard to argue on that one. He
I
jumps...
don't care what you say.
He jumps... He jumps like Jesse Owens. Like...
Looks like I beat you fair and square.
Oh,
bite
this-
him, bite him.
I should bite him. I'm going to turn on smell-o-vision.
Oh, where...
This way.
Oh.
Dig.
dig.
Oh, you
I
can
can
dig
dig.
there.
So
And
smell-o-vision kind of shows you things on the map, which is scientifically, that's how dogs see.
Yeah, but it's like Batman's detective mode, or like there's versions of this.
I know, but I'm telling you, there's a study. That's actually what dogs see.
Is there smell?
They see yellow light
Oh, okay.
where there's bones.
Yes. And they also like to be referred by
As
their
Mister.
gender pronouns, Mr. Do you like the little button layout with the little paw
Yeah,
but
little
each of the
paws, and it
fingers?
tells you which button does what. I think
Yeah, that's
great.
kind of cool.
Come on, Jake.
Shut up.
Yeah, this kid sucks.
Also, the design of the kid is so funny. Like, it looks like a plastic doll.
Yeah, very, he glistens. This is very early or like PS2 era.
Where the dog itself looks good.
Good, Jake.
Okay, here's something I really hate. When you move the camera,
Yeah.
it goes left and right. So it's basically like the camera isn't the camera that rotates around your body.
Right.
It's like it's behind you and you press left and it moves left, right, and it moves right. And if you go up or down, it doesn't go up around the dog, it goes down. Like it just
Oh.
looks down completely.
Okay.
Looking at the car.
When can we get to the point where we rip fenders off cars and stuff like that? Yeah, eat these chickens.
I can. Oh, I picked it up. I picked up a chicken. I picked up a fucking chicken.
This is tremendous. Oh, I just threw the chicken over the fence. Oh, that's great.
Oh, and I got a
can
ball?
you put it in the net?
I hope I can put it in the fucking net. I hope this game is just about running around as a dog.
Oh, you were close.
Oh, I was close.
Try it again. Throw the chicken in the net.
I want to try to throw the chicken in the net.
Get your little bastards.
This is, I gotta be honest, incredibly fun running around like a dog. Honestly, here. Play around. Here. Play around. Close.
Okay.
Little squeak on the ball.
Oh, that was good.
Dude, I understand why dogs, do you see what I mean with the camera?
Yeah,
I
that's
understand why dogs are so obsessed with balls. When you're a dog,
Yeah, or
it's
chickens.
very fun to play
or
with
birds.
all. Collect all 8 green smells near the farmhouse to start a race against the local dog. If you win, you can take control of
What
her.
the hell? This is dark. Okay, so there's a green smell.
So basically,
1,
you've picked up the scent of another dog, and you're following it.
5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, here we go.
Is cool.
Yeah.
Look, of all the games that you play, there's always something you have to collect. It makes sense you collect scent trails from a dog.
Yes. Oh, okay. I
so
see
you're
now.
trying to get all the treats.
Oh, this. Yeah, I'm racing a Chihuahua. This Chihuahua doesn't stand a chance.
Not even close.
Ooh.
Just give that one up. Yeah, there you go. I'd even pick up the chicken just to fuck with this Chihuahua.
throw the chicken at the Chihuahua. Somewhere Gonzo is screaming out in pain.
Dude, you're doing great.
Thanks.
Congratulations. You're kicking so much ass. I want to look up who voiced Jake, the dog.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look that up
In case you're unsure. That's the dog.
Yeah, Mr. Jake.
No, there's a finish line. But I bet you he's like a struggling comedian
Yes.
in New York or something.
Well, he's signing pictures of Jake the dog now on Cameo.
Wait a second. Jake the dog.
Yeah.
And Finn the human. The fun will never end. It's adventure time.
Oh, there we go. Oh, so now I'm a Chihuahua.
Now you are a Chihuahua.
Wait a sec. I could take Lopez through that doggy door.
Through the doggy door. Maybe to go inside the house? Oh, yeah. That's a cool idea. That's really cool. So you win the race, you control the Chihuahua, you go into the doghouse or the little doggy door, and you get a bone.
You got a bone.
So I kind of like.
There we go.
Oh, you just jumped on the car, and the guy is okay with it. And he's also on the. And I'll say this to
Joe.
To Joe, he's on the wrong side of the car.
Yeah, I don't like this guy. I'm asserting my dominance.
for Andrew is standing on the hood of a car, barking at this poor soul. Hey, can you jump on the roof though?
We'll jump on that roof?
Yeah. Look,
Let's
there's an
try
open
it out.
window. You're a dog. Do it. There you go. Yo.
Oh my God.
Oh my dog. We can hear someone talking, and it's like they're talking about cat food. And I think eventually we're going to have to steal cat food because we're a dog, and they're notoriously little scoundrels.
Yeah. Can I break his window? Here, I'm going to run in front
It's
of this
amazing.
thing.
You let us be a dog for 19 minutes, and we are just...
I throw it at the horse?
Yeah, do it. Oh, he shaked his head no.
Yeah, let me get a chicken here.
Grabbing a chicken by the neck and throwing it is endlessly amusing.
This is so great. Here, let me see if I can get on a high hill and throw it off of it.
Oh, do like a little...
Midsummer of chicken?
Oh,
I know! Oh,
he took the feathers off of the bird!
Oh my God, it's a naked bird!
Oh my God.
And not like an Austin Powers thing.
That is terrifying. That's truly terrifying. When you look into smell-o-vision, you can see its poor dead soul.
Well, it's still alive.
Not for long.
Okay, here,
You know what? The one thing I'll say I don't love about this smell-o-vision thing, you can't collect scents unless you're in the smell-o-vision view, but it is impossible to control there.
No, it's the point of, because you're in point of view at that point.
Yes.
It's really tough.
Is there a reason you still have the chicken in your mouth?
I just think it's good.
You don't know what I'm going to be
I think it helps my personality.
So I'm looking at that at the basketball net.
Like, you throw me a bone.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Enough with the dog puns.
You
I
know,
said enough.
You know that's really rough. Oh.
I wonder if I can jump off something and die. That'd be so fun. I'm talking about just in life.
You murdered yourself. There's a little dog funeral. Horse is there.
Horse cat. I never liked him.
The chickens are having a time.
That would be amazing if you could jump into someone's window completely.
Well, yeah, because that cuck of a human being that's here, like, honestly, he's just, he knows that the animals are running the house. He's like, I don't care. I shook a chicken to death on his hood, and he did nothing.
I think he was jerking off in that car. Gotta be honest.
The chicken's still
I'm gonna throw a
naked.
chicken in there. Did I throw a chicken inside?
Oh, is it inside? Yeah, there's gotta be more to do.
Apparently, like, you know, we just run around collecting scents. But like running around in this
mode
makes me sick.
Yeah, it actually makes me sick.
The only thing that's getting in this game's way is itself. Like, it was a lot of fun to just run around as a dog.
Yeah.
But all of that is lost when you can't even see the fact that you're a dog and you have to run around in first person with controls that are...
Oh, I can see the fact that I'm a dog, though.
This car, like, it's weird because there are clearly puzzles that happen around the map as a result of there being, like, you know, a car moving or a tractor moving or something like that. But it doesn't give you any indication of like what is even supposed to happen with these things. Like, it's really hard to glean. It reminds me a bit of Majora's Mask, where the puzzles just have no logical conclusion or logical reason for being. You just have to stumble upon what even the problem is before you can find the solution.
I have to say, I'm a little frustrated.
It sucks, man. I wanted to give this a good rating so bad, but like, this is actively making me sick.
Yeah, I actually hate it. Yeah, I will say, like, I know it's cameras, I know the smell-o-vision, I know some things we're not crazy about. The controls are a little tough.
Little tough. Why are you moving that back?
So I can move this one sideways. Here, wait.
Okay.
So I need to get that first
So
one.
it's a hay bale puzzle, a typical hay bale puzzle.
Yeah. Nathan Drake would be proud.
Nathan Drake would be bored though, because he's not killing native people to that area.
Yeah. He's like, this is mine. Fuck yeah. Also, now I've invited my brother, also kicked the shit out of you. My wife, that old pilot, a bunch of people are here.
Oh, goddamn. Yeah, we're trying to
camera.
do some platforming now, and it's not friendly to that.
Oh, just skipped it.
Oh, man. This game is so close to being good, and then it just continues to get in its own way. Isn't it amazing that we went from being, like, having the best platformer ever in the 2D era with Mario, and then once PlayStation 2 came out, we just had this era where no platformer was close to as good as what we had decades ago.
No, I know. It's crazy.
God damn. Oh my God. It's painful to watch. It's painful to watch you try to jump up on this hay bale.
This way.
Okay.
We need surround sound for this. Never mind smell-o-vision. Give us Dolby Vision. Okay, now we got to a little family outing.
Gramps is drooling in his sleep again. Can you bark him away?
Oh, bark him awake. That's cute. I like that you needed the dog to wake up your grandpa by barking at it. Jake's dead eyes are terrifying.
You know those like dogs that do have very human eyes?
Yes.
No, thank you. I don't need one more thing judging me.
Let's see what tricks you can do besides waking up a poor old man out of a lovely...
This is definitely a 30-year-old voicing this old man, too.
Yes, yes.
To sit, press down. Easy.
Very good. Nailed it.
This feels like a would you kindly thing. I should beat this guy to death with a putter.
Lick my testicles.
I don't know what I'd do without her.
Oh, he farted. What's with the
What
farting
is with
humor?
the farting humor?
I'm going to smell, though. Oh, look at all the smells.
Oh, my God.
Look at all the smells.
This
he
is
gave us.
overwhelming. I think Jake should look to the camera and go like, I like it. It's like, oh, he's a sick pervert. And welcome back to the Retrograde.
Woof, woof. Woof, woof, woof.
Oh,
woof,
boy.
Woof.
Oh, no, it's happening again.
Woof.
Mikey, you okay? You okay, boy?
Hey, that's Mr. Mikey to you.
That is good, very Jake acting. Like, good God.
That was a very visual joke for an auditory podcast,
Yeah.
but hey, we have an announcement to make if you haven't picked up on this yet, but we are live on YouTube as well.
Yes, we are.
So this is brand new as of this episode.
Yeah.
So join us over at YouTube. You can search the Retrograde Podcast, and you can see that crazy, and Andrew will speak for me, hilarious facial gesture that I just made.
Way to go, Mr. Mikey.
Thanks.
That's a Mr. Mimekey, actually. Wasn't that?
That was a great one, too. That was a great one,
Wow.
too.
We're just doing the greatest hits of, we'll do a retrospective eventually. Ooh,
Retrograde, but no, we've already done Retrograde Spective.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But yes, we just played Dog's Life.
Dog's Life, not A Dog's Life.
I kept doing a Dog's Life.
Not
yeah.
Dog the Bounty Hunter's Life.
Yes.
Which would be a great video game. And it would be a walking sim for sure.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah. Beth, what do you think I should do with... I think Beth's dead, actually, so rest in peace, Beth.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever. But Dog's Life, my life bounty hunting. Dog the Bounty Hunter, autobiography. Perfect. I love it. And he's like, oh God, what are you saying? There's already a game called Dog's Life? Oh man, that sucks.
It would be Dog, a life full of bounties.
Oh.
I think that would be something a little bit
A
sentimental.
bountiful life?
A bountiful life would be great.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Hunting for love, which is now that he's single.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Beth.
You know what I was thinking about? Speaking of rest in peace.
Okay.
That people are like, no, it's not rest in peace. It should be rest in power. So
Yeah,
let's change it.
yeah,
that sounds fucking exhausting. Let me rest in peace. I don't want to be powerful once I'm dead.
Yes.
I want to be it's just, I want to be the weakest fucking, I want to never lift a weight again. I just want to be laying there as like almost air. That's how weak and peaceful I want to be.
You know the people that now bury themselves and turn into trees? Have you seen this thing?
You know what? I know it'll happen to me eventually.
What you do, whether you like it or not.
Don't rush it.
I just like the idea that it's like, and now I'm dead. Like I am a tree. like, and we sat under him all the time.
Terrifying.
I know, it's super terrifying. Also, the same thing of like, and you know, speaking of White Lotus, which you and I have been watching,
Yes.
Is that like, you know, throwing your ashes into the ocean, which might have happened in that show. It's kind of
Yes.
like, well, that's a horrifying thing because in that thing, Jennifer Coolidge brings up, she goes, they're fishy food for my mom's fishy food for them. I'm like, oh my God, that's so true.
It's terrifying. That was a great scene.
was great.
So you started watching that show?
Oh, for fuck's sake, Mikey. I
That
recommended it to you.
After I had already recommended it to you. I mean, do
you listen to the show or what's up?
Which show?
This show.
The Retrograde?
The Retrograde.
This comes out?
Yes. Yes. We've added cameras just for your own viewing.
I thought that this was more of like, because I don't have many people to talk to. We were just doing this so I could listen to our own conversations afterwards.
I should somehow convince you that this is definitely a Truman Show-esque thing that we're doing for you.
Okay, so you say that. Here's my actual instinct, is that you've said that to put me off the scent.
That it's actually a Truman Show?
Yes.
And I'm being paid by, I'm an actor?
Like, I'm on to you.
Yeah.
I know that everyone who's like, my life is so much like the Truman Show. You're just doing that to make me think that that's a normal feeling to have.
Even the idea of releasing the Truman Show movie into your world would make you think, well, they wouldn't do
it's
that.
just an idea.
Yeah, exactly.
I've said this before. I have a TikTok dedicated to it at Soup Plant. That is the most sadistic thing the director has ever done, is releasing the Truman Show movie into the world of whomever is
They could have
Truman.
just given us the Majestic and gone home. But no, they had to give us the Truman Show. I think that all the time. I think most people think that because they are the main character of their own story.
Right.
And so like they constantly think like, is this all happening because of me? Like
Yes.
if I walk the corner, does traffic stop? Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like
it does.
Yeah.
Well, I can speak to you. It does.
Really?
It does. Because everyone just has to like take a moment to be like, this fucking asshole just came by here. Holy shit.
I just if I was the Truman Show, those poor viewers, it would be such a low-rated TV show.
I think people would watch it. Like, you know how you and I used to watch telenovelas late at night to get a little bit of porn? People would watch the Mikey Show because they know I'm going to turn that on at a certain point in night. The only people who watch my show are like people who don't have porn in their regular lives. Yeah. So they can watch it vicariously through me.
Have I ever talked on this podcast about Gogglebox? Speaking of British people,
yes,
Detective Joe,
yes,
is that Gogglebox is people watching TV?
Yes,
and it sounds horrible in premise, and then you watch it and you're like, oh, this is wonderful.
This is great.
It's just like that group of people you want to watch TV with and just bitch about it.
It's actually a very Japanese premise.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they have a ton of shows where it's just like a panel of people watching TV shows and commenting. That's been going on forever.
That's true.
Yeah,
every show, it seems like in Japanese shows that we've been taken over to make in Western culture or something like that. It's the part that we lose is they do the TV show and then they cut to a panel of celebrities like laughing and reacting to stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm like, why don't we get that? That seems like fun.
I love that.
Seems
I
so
love
charming.
That.
Okay.
There would be a lot of reactions to
go.
give if you were watching someone play a game as fucking absurd as Dog's Life. A game that I think more so than many other games we played, if not most other games that we played, gets in its own way so much. When this game started, tell me I'm wrong. When this game started and we were just running around the house area.
Being a dog,
which means barking at horses. Grabbing a chicken by the neck and shaking it till its feathers come off.
Yeah.
Jumping on your owner's car and barking at the owner as he sits white-knuckled, staring at you for 3 minutes. If that's all this game was, I was like, this is a buried treasure. This is a phenomenal game.
I was going to say, stop there.
Yes.
I got to eat. I got to sleep. I got to rip some chickens apart. And that's just about short of my life as a dog. And I would be ecstatic. I get to race the chihuahua every once in a while.
It'd be amazing.
I get to shoot baskets. Oh. I love it. But
then you press that triangle button, baby.
Smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision.
It video gamed itself.
Yes.
And in that pursuit of trying to do something more, which in premise, I totally understand.
I totally agree.
You can't go to a video game manufacturer or whatever, ask for funding and go, guess what you do? You're a dog. They're like, great.
Right.
And you're like, no, that's it. You're like, really? I get that.
Pre-indie games, you couldn't
Yes.
do that. Nowadays, you could, because
No.
look at Untitled Goose Game.
Goat Simulator.
Give me an Untitled Goose Game dog version.
Yeah, just a dog.
I want that.
I love this.
I love it as well.
I know, but like, okay, so when we started too, Mikey's like, I love this. I love this.
Yes.
I love this. And I was kind of like, yeah, it's good. It's good. And then once it was just like it was like, it was, you just got more and more disappointed in it. Not
100%.
like mad. Like you get mad at video games. You get like, you're like, oh, this is so frustrating. This was like,
That sounds like me.
no, don't do that. Oh,
I was
don't
so
do this.
disappointed.
Don't.
I was so disappointed.
It's just it's a great in premise idea for a game.
Yeah.
In practice, it's just not as fulfilling.
It's because once you hit that triangle button, and I say this about modern games as well, including the game that we referenced, which was detective mode in Arkham Knight.
Yes.
I hate a situation where there are certain things that you can only figure out by hitting that like extra mode. Like so in Arkham Knight or Arkham City, especially Arkham Asylum, you basically walk around the whole world with this like weird black and white thing to see
infrared,
right,
negative, whatever.
And the benefit in Arkham Knight is that it doesn't make you physically nauseous to do it, which you and I, how many times have we finished playing a game and had to just walk around my condo until we felt better?
I actually had a cold sweat playing, thinking, please don't vomit on the podcast. And I don't get motion sick, and I'm like, oh, I feel awful.
I do get. I got very motion sick playing GoldenEye.
Yeah, there you go.
That was
But
a big
for a
one.
very similar reason, a point of view where you're moving very fast and the camera is not very good at following you.
Right, exactly.
It's the same reason. You know what I mean? What I'm talking.
I don't know if we mentioned this. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you wouldn't know, but it's a first person angle.
Yes, you
that
see
you're
the
looking
snout
at.
of the dog, like
Yes.
that first person.
Yeah.
Like it's right there.
Including the helpless chicken. If you have a chicken in your mouth, you can see that
You
in
see
that
chicken
angle as well.
looking back into the camera like, please kill me. Why are you saving me right now? Oh, God. So I agree with you. The detective mode or those infrared modes where you can see more or a different perspective, those work when they're in bursts.
Yes.
And when they don't work is when you just go like, well, I guess I'll play most of the game like this.
That I really hate.
And this game doesn't make it advantageous to play it like that. It requires you
yes.
to play like that, which is insane.
So the reason it's required, if you missed it in the gameplay portion, is because when you're in quote unquote detective mode in smell-o-vision, you can see
Smell-o-vision, I'm sorry, was a thing they tried in the 60s in the movies too, eh?
Yeah.
Like they tried to do like interactive thing. Have you ever been to like the Muppet ride in Disney World?
Yes.
Or Universal, whatever it is. It's like that one where they're like, we're going to spray water at you. And then, oh, this guy farted. Uh-oh. You know, like smell-o-vision. And then people are like, we don't want that.
You don't. Guys, especially because the easiest smells it seems to replicate are the worst smelling smells.
Yes.
It's like, so you get strawberries. That's an easy one.
great.
And then farts. And then
farts.
here's the smell of someone who ate strawberries farting. And those are the three smells that you
I love the idea. Like he's driving through the strawberry field. Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of nice, actually, a little bit. Oh, now it's the marina. Oh shit. It's gonna be a bunch of fish. That's like sometimes like those Jelly Bellies that are like the Truth or Dare ones, which you could get. It could be pineapple. It could be diapers. Right. And you're like. What? Like, why in the world? I am an adult. Why would I choose to do this?
I love the idea that there is one person at that company who sits in a dark room whose job it is to try side by side.
Just putting little Jelly Bellies in his mouth going like, not diaper enough.
And I like the idea that he is always in a diaper.
Yeah. No, because then he goes to a fresh diaper, puts it in his face, and he's like, and then tries the Jelly Belly. He's like, nope, not there yet, guys. And a bunch of disappointed people in lab coats. They're like,
what you are describing is 2 degrees removed from a Batman villain. It's just a guy in a room in a diaper who smells diapers.
Yes.
And also owns a corporation.
Yes,
That
yeah.
seems very, very Batman-esque.
like Nose of Crime or something like that. Right. Who is like, all he does is sense. So
no, I think his name would be the Jelly Belly.
The Jelly Belly?
That would just be it.
Yes, he'd just constantly stroking himself. No cat, just his belly. So smell-o-vision. That's how we got there.
Right.
But sorry.
No. So the reason it's required is because once you turn on the smell-o-vision, the only way you can pick up these collectibles, which initially I thought was a really cool idea, like in Banjo-Kazooie, you collect puzzle pieces or Jengos or music notes.
Jelly Boy, you collect music notes.
Yeah, you got it. In Jelly Boy, like that's,
Jelly Boy,
it's got to be music notes.
Love that.
But the problem is, they rationalize why you're collecting things because you're a dog. In order to interact with things, you have to smell where they are. Like that's a very
Makes
dog
sense.
thing. Great.
Totally.
The problem is the only way you can quote unquote pick up those smells is by being in smell-o-vision, and maneuvering the world in smell-o-vision is atrocious.
So I thought when we did smell-o-vision, it's a way of tracking somebody.
Yeah.
Tracking, going to something. Totally get that. That makes absolute sense. When you find out that is the requirement to move on from a level or the collection of bones, which seems to be the bones are their money, that becomes so cumbersome that you don't have to, it's not like an ancillary bonus structure or like,
bonus structure.
Yeah, bonus structure. It's required.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, well, and the worst part is, the best part of this game is just being the dog and being the dog. And then that becomes an afterthought.
Exactly. You spend more time, like the modern, or at least the earlier Batman games, more time in the mode that makes the game less fun than you do playing the game in the mode that is actively more fun. So I don't know how much more we have to say about this game, but I think we should get into our reviews now.
Sorry, Joe.
I mean, listen, a game that has all the charm in the world and is worth bringing up because it's so unique.
I'm really glad she recommended this game.
100%.
Otherwise, we would not play this game. This has been happening recently where I'm like, I've never even heard of this game. This is really good.
Right.
Unfortunately, well, let's just do it. Let's do it now.
Let's do it now. So usually, as we mentioned, what we would do is rate and review the game as we remember playing it back in 2004 when it came out. But because you and I haven't played the game, I mentioned that I'd played it, but nowhere near enough to give it a review. This was just something that I had done in passing. I think I rented it and barely even played it, but it was always a fascination to me. So you and I are both going to be rating it as we think we would have liked it had we played it back in the day, and then we're going to give it our scores in the modern day. So with that said, Andrew, will you be so kind as to give us your, would you kindly not beat me to death with a putter? That's what Andrew Ryan should have said. That's what he should have said that. Yeah. Would you kindly give this game a rating out of 4 bits based on what you think you would have thought of it had you played it back?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I think this is a really good one for our kid rating and our current rating, because there is going to be a very big gap between those two things. This is an interesting premise.
Yes.
Right? And one that would have stood out at the time. The graphics themselves are actually pretty good depending on what you're looking at. The dog itself, good graphics. The environment around it, whatever. The horse, pretty good. The other chicken's pretty good. The human, nah. So it really focuses on what is the importance of the game in general. As a kid, I would have been a lot more forgiving for cameras and controls because at the time they were just generally worse than they are right now.
Yep.
So that wouldn't have stood out as much as it is currently. But would have the premise itself been rewarding enough for me to get past the idea that I'm a dog? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm a dog. This is great. Then everything else from there becomes less good.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have liked this game a tremendous amount, but I still would have played the hell out of it just because I'm a stupid kid and I get to play as a dog.
Sure.
I can't give it a high score, though. I'm going to give it 2.5 out of 4.
2.5 seems like a very fair score for this because it feels like a playground game in the sense that it's like, here's a cool concept.
Yeah.
Play around with it if you want, but like I never would have bought this game. This was a sheer rental. I knew about it. The reason I was fascinated by it is because it towed that line of like, this could be really good.
Yes.
Or it might not be. But back at that time, buying a game was like my entire year's savings. So I wasn't necessarily willing to waste it or spend it on that. And here's another thing to think about. At this point in time, in 2004, there were so many other games that had much better controls as well. So we've got The Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay, Half-Life 2, Halo 2, Fable, which you think about a game that has that deals with a 3D environment and just manages to have mechanics and controls that are way better.
Yeah.
Like Fable, come on. Like 1-to-1, that's great. So as much as we think we would have been able to look past some of the bad controls, at that point in time, we did have a much higher standard. But I agree, it was different enough to make me look past some of those issues.
Yeah.
So but not good enough to make me want to buy it. I would have played it enough to be satisfied, and that satisfaction would have warranted as well a 2.5 out of 4.
Oh, so you also went 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2.5s. That's a 5 out of 8.
Yes.
Well, 5 out of 8. Wow, that's actually higher than I thought it was going to be. Okay. So let's get to our current day scores.
Fine.
And okay, relax. I'll
We'll
start. Okay, Jesus. And I'll start.
Of course.
This game's a disaster. I'm sorry. This game is awful. Like it's so bad. There are worse games that I don't have to walk away from so I don't throw up. Like,
it's so true.
I'm sorry. A big mark is going, was I violently ill while playing this game? And if the answer is no, I wasn't, well, that's better than this game.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. This game is an unmitigated disaster because the best moments you have are that first 45 seconds when you're like, hey, I'm a dog. That's great. And then you go, what the fuck? How do I do? What the fuck is this? What do I do that? What is this? And the Exorcist level when the dog turns his head completely around while he tries to back up, the trying to turn it into a platformer, which is like full marks for trying, but in execution is really bad. It's just not a good game.
Yeah.
And it should be good.
I
In
know.
premise alone, if you wrote down that sounds like so much fun, and then you play it for more than 45 seconds and you're like, oh, this is really bad, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 4.
1 out of 4. Yeah, I hear you on that one, man. You describe the timeline and the emotional roller coaster you go through within the first 10 minutes of this game. This game gives you a good 10 minutes. And that to me describes what it would actually be like to wake up as a dog.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I'm a fucking dog. This is
This is
amazing.
great.
And then all of a sudden you're like, I got to eat that. I got to smell that.
I want to go to the bathroom. Please let me go to the bathroom. I can't go to the bathroom? What? It's cold out.
And I agree with you, man. It actively made me ill. And I think one of the most disappointing things is like, I often want to reward a good premise because I think a good premise deserves rewarding. But when it misses the mark this much, it almost is a further detriment to it.
Right.
I'm struggling whether to give this more credit because it takes a big swing and misses as opposed to trying to do something generic and just being mediocre, because that's one of my least favorite things in a game.
Yeah.
However, the fact that, you know what? Okay, no. I'm going a little bit higher than you on this one. I'm going 1.5. And the reason I'm going a 1.5 is because as we started to give up on the minute to minute, just like collect all the cents and this and that, when we started to just play the story for the story's sake and go explore the world a little bit more instead of trying to like desperately figure out exactly how to beat each puzzle, I enjoyed it a little bit more. And because it was opening up and we weren't doing weird Exorcist like circles around, it made me feel a little bit less sick when it opened up, but still not quite that much. I'm giving this a 1.5 out of 4. A reluctant 1.5, a low 1.5, but bonus points for still being a game that I feel could be released today and people would be like, that's fucking fun. That's funny. Fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so when you weren't playing the game for how they want you to, you're like, I like it.
Well, I mean, it depends on, so I mean, a lot of games like Assassin's Creed, for example, how they want you to is to collect fucking everything. And when I play it that way, I don't enjoy it. And this is kind of the same.
This is not collect everything. This is move to level 2 level stuff, right?
A little bit. I mean, it's tough because we didn't play for a full day.
Mikey, we couldn't.
We would just
be throwing up constantly.
Literally, we couldn't. But I did like when we moved to another full area of the map. It felt like there was more to do, more to see. Not that it changed the gameplay that much. But
more people farting.
More people. There's a lot of farts.
There's a lot of farting.
A lot of farts.
Holy God.
A lot of farts. Look, I don't want to plant my flag in this argument. I think that I think it warrants a slightly higher score. Like I'm only a 0.5 higher than you.
I totally understand.
I think it warrants a slightly higher score because if I look back at some of the things that I would have given a 1.5 to.
Yeah, please do.
Alan Wake, same thing. The controls were kind of atrocious. And Alan Wake may be a little bit better than this game, actually.
Yeah, Alan Wake's a tremendous amount better.
It also had a few years afterwards to
I'm
build
with you
it.
on that one.
Enter the Matrix, I think, is a worse game. Assassin's Creed, I gave a 1.5. I mean, similar kind of concept. The original Assassin's Creed.
Oh, the original, yes.
A 1, Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja, Metal Wolf Chaos.
Sure.
I'm not upset
Chaos,
with where I ended up there because it has a lot of the same issues as a game that would have gotten those ratings, but
This feels like a Barbie game or like a Sims expansion pack.
That's, you know what, we use an example of like something you would get in a cereal box
Yes.
a lot, and this does kind of feel like that, or like with a Happy Meal.
Absolutely it does.
Yeah.
And we've played games that you have gotten with a Happy Meal and we've liked them more.
Yeah.
So there you go. A 1 and a 1.5 for us. That is altogether a 7.5 out of 16. As the dog would say, that's rough.
Oh, woof, Andrew.
Hey, yo. Okay, so, what's that noise?
Oh.
What?
Oboe.
Okay, we got...
The oboes are one. We got to get the
We
fuck
gotta
out
get-
of here.
let's go.
We
Come
know
on.
what happens. It's like when night falls and we got to get the fuck out of here.
Like Alan Wake.
Yes.
You've been waiting for it all year. The most glamorous award ceremony of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, the Grady's.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Incredible. Everyone looks so nice.
It sounded like, do you think a wolf could play an oboe? I mean, a dog could play an oboe?
Well, wolf, dog.
Wolf, dog.
Same family.
Same family.
Well, no, because a lot of fingering. They don't really have
But
fingers.
what about that whole saying of knick knack paddywhack, give a dog an bone? Elliot, thanks for joining us. Elliot, why don't you reach into that? Oh, it's cute. His dog came out and is carrying the envelope
that's
in his
nice.
mouth. That's adorable.
That's
why don't
good.
you grab that envelope and tell us which awards this game won?
Cute.
The Worst Buy Hall of Fame. Adorable.
Adorable?
The Worst Buy Hall of Fame is adorable.
It's up there with some of the worst awards you can get.
Yeah. Obviously, the Worst Buy Hall of Fame is a current score below 3.
Ugh.
Which is not great.
No, and this got 2.5, so there we go. Under 3.
Under 3. I mean, I think we talked about changing that, and I don't think we ended up doing it. Because
we guys had 2?
Yeah,
Under
yeah,
2?
But whatever. It's
For
there.
next time.
We don't fucking... For the time after that, maybe, in time immemorium, this game will
Absolutely.
forever and ever be...
Well, it was Times Person of the Year in 2000.
This game was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You.
Oh, true.
Everyone was. I hope you put that in your resume. You should. It's on my LinkedIn.
You know what? Is it actually?
No.
Oh, that would
Should
be
be
really
though.
funny.
Times Person of the Year 2000.
Yes, that's really funny.
Make them ask,
Yes.
and I show them the cover. I'm like, now you were too.
I had
you.
I've always
you.
been a fan of when someone on the resume, because I've done a few, you've done some interviews as
Yeah.
well. When someone puts something like that
Yeah.
makes me like, they were like someone said like Survivor aficionado circa like the year
Oh,
it came
that's
out.
cool.
So I like asked them a random question about Survivor and they got
Yeah.
the answer and I was like, good
Oh,
shit.
I like your
Good
honesty.
shit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Cut of your
yeah.
jib.
I like
eye
it.
contact, firm handshake. Oh wow. So yeah, Worst Buy Hall of Fame, deserving.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
Hard to
Sorry,
really
Joe,
feel.
but
sorry, Joe. But honestly though, please check out her Twitch stream.
Yes.
she's so funny. Those VR LA Noire stuff is so funny, and I love LA Noire.
Yeah.
and I like that it's not. Intentional, kind of like this podcast in a way. We're not intentionally trying to set anything up to make fun of it.
Right.
Just letting it come to you and going, well, that's kind of crazy.
Here's the thing I think I like most about her streams is that it's very clear.
Yeah.
She loves L.A. Noire.
She does.
It's not like, hey, I would play L.A. Noire to make fun of it.
Yeah,
Like,
and you'd be
don't.
wrong.
And I would be, it depends on who you ask. If you ask me,
well, why would I ask you?
well, because I'm your partner in crime.
Okay, that's good. I like that actually. That worked out.
You are the Dick Grayson to my Batman. So that's why
I'm
you
sorry.
asked me.
What now?
Look, I think you would love those streams. You should go check those out for sure.
I'm not even the Nightwing. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for listening and watching the Retrograde podcast. We can't wait to talk and see you soon. It's a two-way thing. My name's Andrew Bascom, and with me as always, Mr. Bebop, the bad boy of podcasting,
Mikey Aaronworth.
This is the Retrograde podcast.
Game over.
That's how we end every episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Retrograde podcast.
We look forward to recording this podcast all week long, and we hope you guys look forward to listening to it.
You know how we got into retro video game podcasting for the money and the babes? We're really in it for the ratings and reviews.
Money is ratings. Reviews are babes.
Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you enjoy podcasts.
For any business inquiries, you can always email the retrogradepodcast@gmail.com.
You can find us on Twitter @RetrogradePod.
And you can find Andrew on Twitter @RetrogradeAndy.
And then Mikey @RetrogradeMikey.
Instagram @The Retrograde Podcast. And remember, find us on Patreon, patreon.com/The Retrograde Podcast for all of your non-essential but very much enjoyable content. We don't ask that you give us much, apart from joining our Patreon. But what we do ask is that you join this community that we've grown. Also, give us some of your blood.
Yeah. I want some of your hair in a bag. Thanks for listening from your two dads.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
I shook a chicken to death on his hood, and he did nothing.